George, there's a lot of talk about the last over. Was it planned to give Faulkner the last over because of mostly cricketing reasons, or was it also because there was a needle between him and the West Indians?
Because of the
pre-match needle?
no,
he said.
No, just pure death skills, Stark and Faulkner.
George, do you feel like that's the end of the tournament now? It looks pretty hard to get out of the group now.
Yeah, I haven't actually crunched or been told. I'm not sure where that leaves us. I would imagine it makes it pretty difficult. I think we sort of looked at the start of the tournament, probably thought you could afford to lose one. I'm not sure you can afford to lose two, so we'll have to check that out. But I imagine that makes it reasonably difficult from there.
Did it cross your mind to give your head just one more over?
No, not really. No.
George, where did you, it might sound like a silly question, but where did you lose it tonight? Was it actually in those last few overs, or were there other things, do you think, that, like if you had to, were there other factors apart from that last onslaught? Yeah,
I think your mind tends to track back to the most recent thing in the bowling, but once again, I don't think we batted particularly well. Just having a quick think about it then, I think basically all of the top six probably played pretty ordinary shots. Or shots at inappropriate times. So I think the fact that we scraped to 178 was pleasing, given that I don't think we batted particularly well. And once again, we probably let ourselves down in the field with some chances. And that comes back to bite you pretty hard, probably harder in T20 than in most formats. That just the repercussions of that are so instant. So I'm sure there's things we could do differently with the ball, and there'd be guys who'd like to have their overs again and try a little bit or do something a little different. But I don't think you can lay the blame just on the bowlers. Certainly, all three disciplines were once again not up to the standards that we've set.
George, following up on his question regarding James, the leggy. Why didn't it cross your mind? Because he was doing 3 overs, 1 for 21, and considering the fact that West Indies handled pace much better than spin, and in this tournament we have seen leggies do quite well.
Yes, all good points. Well, retrospectively they did very well against the quicks, but I'm not sure there's many leggies that have bowled in this tournament in overs 18, 19 and 20, 17, 18, 19 and 20. I think James had done his job. He'd bowled pretty challengingly to the short boundary. To some guys who weren't starting to go at him as hard as they were starting to come at him then. And, I guess we're looking back retrospectively now, so it doesn't matter. But I felt that James was probably going to be easier to hit for 6. And we're talking about, these West Indians are big buggers. If they hit the ball, it stays hit. Not many fall short on the fence. So that was just the way it worked out. I would have introduced him into the game earlier, but Chris Gale sort of, it's always a bit of a risk, but I'll spin to him too.
George, all that aside, you must feel vindicated with his selection, considering some people would have questioned bringing in such a young player in such a crunch match.
Oh yeah, that's what people are entitled to do, but I don't think we feel vindicated. We picked a squad on what we think and feel is the best 15 players or 15 balanced players for a World Cup over here. So we had faith in Jim from what he'd done in the 3 games he played in Australia. Done a really good job for us. I think he's someone who thrives almost the more pressure is on, or the more competitive the nature of the game. I think Jim, his competitive streak comes to the fore as well.
You stated started the tournament, this batting lineup had more depth, but we've come up short again. Where do from here in terms of T20 cricket?
Oh, the balance is right. There's no doubt about that. And we've lost 2 games, but I think it'd be remiss of everyone not to. It's not like we've been knocked over for 120 in each game. So we feel like we haven't batted very well in 2 games, and we've scored 180 and whatever we scored the other night. So it's not a glaring weakness, and I'd say the same about our bowling, and I'd say the same about our fielding. We've just lost 2 close games in a tournament where you can't afford to lose 2 close games.
George, what did you make of the on-field celebrations from the West Indian guys doing the Gangnam Style dance and all that sort of stuff? After a group stage win, was it a little bit much?
Oh, well, no, I guess they're entitled to celebrate however they like. I've always sort of felt that the art of winning is almost harder than the art of losing, isn't it?
George, the wickets there fell early. It looked like the guys were pushing too hard, and it was similar to the previous match as well. But back then it was justified because you guys were chasing a lot. Was there any chance you guys set ambitious targets with the bat?
Do we try to set an ambitious
ambitious
target?
targets with the bat.
Yeah,
yes.
we'd like to set ambitious targets. That's the plan. I think our mindset is to be attacking. We want to be, we want to be putting bowlers under the pressure. And I think if you go through our top four, I think you'd say they're all pretty aggressive players. They certainly like to take the bowling on, and that's the risk and reward of that. And more often than not with these four, I think they've been pretty consistent at pulling it off. And the one thing I've been pleased with in the past is I think when they've gone and the decisions they've made have been really good. So that's always going to be the challenge, but I'd much rather see us get bowled out for 120 in the 14th over than be a team that scraps to 130. I think going forward and for the way that we want to play our T20 cricket, and I think that's vindicated. So we haven't batted as well as we like today, and we get 180. That's pleasing in a lot of aspects, but it's disappointing on a lot of others.